Today, Liss and I are going to explore gift denial. It is not a river.
Hi, and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational, and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liz. I'm a science of mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use the space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring. But what is gift denial? This is a great question. This is a great topic, I think. I think a lot of people intentionally or unintentionally don't even know that they have gifts or don't even know how many gifts they have. I think people are a whole lot more gifted than they realize. And I think it's pretty common to forget that we have them, to forget that they are ours inherently. And not only should we be using them, but we should be using them regularly in order to cultivate even more gifts and even more gifts and even more gifts, because I think that's how it works. I could be wrong, but that's my belief, is that when you start understanding that you have these unique abilities and gifts and talents that might be somewhat shared by other people, but ultimately are uniquely yours, you start to open up that space in yourself for courage and gratitude and just the divine within that is allowed to flow a little bit more, whereas before they might have been all behind a door that we intentionally or unintentionally closed at some point to protect ourselves. When we start opening that door again, we open the door to all of the possibilities, and not just for our gifts and our talents to grow, but to discover that there could be a whole lot more behind that door. So, what happens when we um, ignore or reject that we have gifts? I did it. My gift scared me. So I closed that door and I put a chair in front of it and I put some heavy boxes on top of the chair. It was, I didn't have the understanding. I didn't have the tools. I did not know what to do with the information that I was receiving because it scared me. And my answer was nope. Nope. And the thing is, I am not special. There are a lot of people just like me who probably knew some things that they couldn't possibly really know, but they did. They knew without a shadow of a doubt that XYZ, PDQ, and it was a sure and complete knowing. And it can be, especially at first, when you start to really see your intuition and really see your inner wisdom and your knowing, it can be a little intimidating with some of the things that all of a sudden you know, and you don't know why you know, but they're validated as true. And especially at a young age, I wouldn't be surprised if I was not the only one who said, nope, nope, nope. So, what happens when we close that door and we reject those inherent abilities or um, our divine gifts, our potential, and close it down with the fear and the doubt and the oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. The all of the thoughts that come along with that fear and that doubt. And the ultimate misunderstanding, my experience has been that when you're closed. Business is closed. There is no flow. There is no there's no concerning intuitions, there's no knowing, there's also no joy, there's no flow, there's no freedom. Um, being shut down is shut down. You're closed for business. Even love can be hard to feel. Gratitude can be hard to feel. Joy can be hard to feel because the door is closed. So unfortunately, the door is either open or closed. We do have to open that door again because all of the beautiful things behind that door are really meant for us and are meant for our lives and they're meant to be shared. So if you find yourself really relating to the things that I'm sharing, bear with us. We're going to talk about this a little bit more and how we can ease that door open. And it doesn't have to be scary. There doesn't have to be all kinds of doubt and fear and concerns that we're losing our mind and we're ready for the nut house. It can just be a very gentle, loving removal of the boxes off the chair and the chair from the door and opening that door just a crack and let that light in.
Absolutely, yes. Because, honey, for me, I think the ultimate summary of what happens when we are in denial of our gifts, or we've gotten even further to like actually suppress them, the ultimate thing that happens is that we cannot access our highest timeline for this life. Because there's so many different ways that our life can pan out with free will beings. Our highest timeline, the one that brings us the most fulfillment and joy and satisfaction, is the one in which our gifts are flowing and flourishing. Because our gifts are given to us for service. Even a gift that is an innate talent, like some people are just born champion tennis players, and you can see it from the time they're two, and then that talent is encouraged and fostered and coached, and they become the world number one. Because that's yourself, well, that gives that person a great life. How is that a service? I think the service of that is inspiration. How many little kids watch a person like that and think, oh, that looks like fun. I want to learn how to do that. Maybe I could be a champion. The extent to which it inspires people when one person fleshes out their talent. Same thing with our gifts. When we actually allow them to bloom and flourish, we end up usually using those gifts for others. So when we're denying them in ourselves, we are literally denying our highest possible timeline. So that timeline that we all say we want, the one that's full of joy and love and abundance and plenty and possibility and fulfillment and happiness, we're shutting that off from ourselves. That energetic channel isn't available. It can't possibly be. So when we are in denial of our gifts, for whatever reason, we are living a less than optimal timeline. We are choosing less than what we actually desire, even though we don't necessarily consciously realize that. And so for me, that's why I'm so passionate about this. Because what is empowerment truly? Empowerment is living your highest timeline and enjoying all of its benefits. So there are various reasons why each individual would suppress their talent or their gift. And you eliminated some of them. And it's almost impossible for me to speak about this topic without getting personal. So if I can share a little bit of my story in this regard, it's literally taken me almost 50 years to even be able to say the words that I possibly might be a little bit psychic. And even today, that's the most I can muster. I would feel narcissistic, I would feel arrogant, and I would feel imposter syndrome if I were to sit here and say, I'm psychic. I can't do that. Every fiber of my being goes, no, you're not. But it took 50 years to be able to say possibly, maybe, even a little bit psychic. The truth is, I had a connection with those who had crossed over from very, very young. They came to me, I saw them, they spoke to me, they gave me messages for people. I had a connection to those who were in the process of crossing over, and I knew that they were dying before they were dead. And that led to experiences. I was always very comfortable with it myself. It was so natural to me, having visitors in the night and things like that. I was never afraid of it. But when I started sharing those things with others, like Auntie Joe is going to die today, and then Auntie Joe dies today, the experience for me as a 7-year-old and as a 9-year-old was that I somehow caused it by
Right.
thinking or saying that.
Right.
So the response was so over the top, first of all, because people were coming from their fear, often from their grief or their heartache, which my little girl mind didn't understand or comprehend. And it was a very rejecting experience of me. It's like, if you're going to talk about these things, you're going to be pushed away, you're going to be rejected. And for a little child who's dependent on other people, that's an existential threat. So this ability better shut up and go away, which it never really did. I just stopped sharing about it. And through a course of events in my life, I ended up a really, really blazingly angry teenager. Really blazingly angry teenager. Again, because of gift denial and suppression. In this case, not my psychic gift, but my actual physical talents. My mother prevented, stopped, and blocked the expression of all of those. And so I was full of rage and became very, very attracted to the very dark side of life. Working in biker bars and listening to heavy metal. And unfortunately, I could connect to the spirits behind all that. And I could see them and experience them. And so that was terrifying. And
Sure.
only then did I actually shut the gift off.
Mm.
So there was the component of the fear of rejection, which I think a lot of people can relate to. But then there was also the component of the fear of the dark side.
Right. Absolutely.
And so the combination of understanding those two fears and processing through those two fears is what will give you the courage to actually crack the door open again. Because we cannot use the light of our gift if we haven't embodied and connected to the light itself first. And there is no fear in the light of any kind, whether it's personal of rejection or ideological of the dark side. There's no fear in the light, ever.
And I think you touched on some important points that are worthy of mentioning. Our families, our societies, even our religions do not support expressions of our divine intelligence, especially when we're children. And so many children can see through the veil. They can see through to the non-embodied beings that we blow them off as their imaginary friends, and we blow them off as making up stories, and we're just not truly supported in our in navigating the confusing path that not only are we trying to navigate the world as we're growing up, we're learning about the world around us, but we're also learning about the world within us. And there just isn't a lot of support for that. There just isn't a lot of embracing of our uniqueness and cultivating our natural gifts and our talents, let alone the gross misunderstanding that can come with what children might be saying, and even older children. You know, uh, I was into my double digits when I started noticing things that I certainly did not feel safe telling anybody because I was quite sure what I was going to hear in response. So I didn't have anyone to refer to be like, you know, hey, I there's this thing that I know, and it sounds a little nuts, but I know it without a shadow of a doubt, and I don't know what to do with it. I had nobody. And how many people really do have somebody that they can go to and, you know, bounce these ideas off of and really have those intimate conversations with, where we can understand that, wow, you have a gift of knowing. You have a gift of wisdom. You have a gift of, you know, kind of listening between the lines and reading things that a lot of people might not be able to read. And, you know, stick with it. Don't be afraid. You know, all of the things that we try to tell children as they're growing up is don't be afraid that this information is coming to you. There's a reason. You might not know the reason right away, but there's a reason. And you'll learn as you grow that this isn't something to be afraid of, that this isn't something to feel bad about. This isn't something you need to punish yourself about. This is this is something to embrace. And I think the other thing that you touched on there was the inspiration that you talked about. It can be so inspiring to see an artist, especially if you watch the artist create something. And I'm thinking of Bob Ross right now. You could watch Bob Ross transform a blank canvas in 30 minutes to a scene that you feel like you could walk into. And the inspiration that he offered to countless artists just because he shared his gift. I mean, that's a beautiful expression of not everybody can pick up a brush and do that. You know, not everybody can pick up a golf club and do that. But isn't it beautiful that we can inspire somebody to try and to see what they might be able to pick up and run with? So it's not just so much what occurs to ourself and ourselves when we're denying, but it's what we might be holding back from others when we don't share. When we don't embrace what we've got and we don't share it as an extension, like you said, in servitude, or as inspiration, or as demonstration of courage and joy and embracing and celebrating, share with each other and lift each other up with.
We so often speak about topics on this channel, Laurie, from the spiritual point of view, belief-based. And yet, how many gifts aren't talents that very well-meaning parents suppress? I'm thinking of my hubby when I say this. My husband is mind-blowingly incredible artist, always has been. Whether we're talking about digital graphic art, which he taught himself, or oil painting, or crafting little wood things, metal things, carving into stone, you name it. He does it naturally, always has since he was a little boy. And his very well-intentioned and loving parents actively encouraged him to give up on that.
Oh,
Because artists don't make any money. There's no future in the world for artists.
right.
You're going to die a pauper, and so on and so on. So my artist husband was sent for technical training. I mean, maths and physics and technical drawing. And hated every minute of it. Absolutely hated every minute of it. He's now finally in a position in his life. He has his day job and it's great. But every moment of his free time, what's he doing? He's creating his art. And that makes me so happy to see. So very often it's not that our intentions are bad. It's not that our parents' intentions are bad. They raise us according to their belief system that believes in the current world system and the blocks and the lacks and the stops and the impossibilities. And so I think part of it is giving ourselves permission to actually believe in our innate talents, believe in our gifts, and change our own minds about what is possible and what can and can't be done. Because it's all just programming, it's all just ideas. And we can change those ideas, change our minds, just do something different.
Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.